This is the 5.8 part 1 practice. I'm going to do the evens. This first part, what you want to do is simplify each radical expression. Now how we do that is you want to break down what's inside this radical. So if we break down 200, you could do it several ways. But if the easiest way would be take a small number like 2, and then 2 times what equals 200. So 200 is 2 times 100, right? And then I just keep going. So now I can break down 100. So 100 is 10 times 10. And now when I look at this, I see that I have a pair of tens, and those 10s come out to 110 on the outside. So my final answer would be 10 radical 2. So again, remember, you're just taking pairs out. If I look at number 8, so I have 48 n to the third. So that's just like saying 48 times n times n times n. And then I want to break down 48. So just keep everything under the radical. I know that 6 times 8 times n times n times n. And then I can break that down even further. 6 is 2 times 3. And 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And then you still have all 3 of your n's. So that's like saying times n times n times n. So now, let's see our pairs. I have a pair of n's. I have one pair of 2's. And then I have another pair of 2's. Okay, so I just bring those pairs out and they just count as 1. So this pair of 2's is going to come out. So that's this one and this one. Then this pair of 2's is going to come out. And then this n is going to come out. So that would be like 2 times 2 times n on the outside. And then what's left on the inside is a 3 and an n. And then you can simplify this by just doing 2 times 2 on the outside, which would be 4n. And then what's left underneath is the radical 3n. And that's it. All right, 10 has an x on the outside, and you're just going to leave it out there for now. So we are going to do, let's just break this apart. Okay, so I have x, and then the radical, and then so 150. So let's just say, I know I can break down 150 into 2 times 75, and then it's x to the fifth, so it's 5 x's. X times x times x times x times x. There's 5 of them. I can do a little bit more further breaking down of the 75. So I'm going to write this again. So it's going to be 2 times. So 75 would then be, let's just think about this. That would be 3 times 25 times x times x times x times x times x. And then I can break 25 down again. So I'd have x. I would keep the 2 times the 3. I can't break those down anymore. And then 25 can be 5 times 5. And then you have your x's. Okay, and there's 5 of those. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look for everything. So now that everything's broken down, we're going to bring our pairs out. There's only 1, 2, so I'm not worried about that. There's only 1, 3, so I'm not worried about that. There's 1 pair of 5's. There's 1 pair of x's. And then there's another pair of x's. So I'm going to bring the 5 out. I'm going to bring the x out. And I'm going to bring another x out. So what it'll look like on the outside is because I already have this x right here. I'm bringing out a set of 5s, so that's just 1 5, and then a set of x's, which is just counts as 1x, and then another set of x's. And then my radical, I have a 2 times 3 is 6, and then an x. And then I can simplify this by having 5, and then x times x times x is x to the third. And then underneath will just be 6x. And this is your final answer right here. All right, so we have number 12. So the negative 2b stays. And then I got to figure out how to break down 136. So 136 in my mind is a difficult number, so I want to just do 136 divided by 2. So that would be like, let's be 2 times 68 times b, because I broke down b squared. So I can break down 68 even more, so I can negative 2b, and looking for 2 times 68. So then if I divide that, say again, by 2, that's going to be 34. So it's 2 times 34 times b. Again, I can break down the 34. So negative 2b is 2 times 2, and then 34 divided by 2 is 17. So b times 2 times 17 times b times b. Okay, so now I can't break 17 down anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. Now I'm looking just for my pairs. I got a pair of 2's, and I got a pair of b's. So these are going to come out, and this is going to come out. And then, so then I'll have 2 times a negative 2, like in this first one right here. So that's going to give me negative 4. And then a pair of b's, which we're only going to count as one single b. So that'd be b, and this bottom one here, times a b is going to be b squared. And then what's left underneath the radical is 2 times 17. So 2 times 17 is equal to 34. And then you can kind of check your answer, because maybe I can break down 34 differently. What if I do 34 divided by 4? Well, I get a decimal. 34 divided by 6, I get a decimal. So I can't do 12, I can't do 8, so that would be your final answer right there. So on this first page, all we did was we broke them down into smaller multiplication steps, and then the pairs are brought out of the radical sign, okay? All right, so now simplify these. If you have 2 different ones with radicals, the easiest way to do this is just think of it as one radical and then do 6 times 30 and then break them down, okay? So I'm going to do the evens. Oh, I got lucky because there's only 2 of them. So this would be like saying radical 5 times 70. So I can't break down 5, but I can break down 70. So I'll just continue my radical. 5 times, and then I know this would be 7 times 10. I can't break down 7, but I can break down 10. So I would have 5 times 7 times 2 times 5. And I can't break down any of these numbers anymore. So once I'm done breaking these down, see I have a pair of 5s. So this pair of 5s is going to go on the outside, and your final answer is going to be 5, and then what's 7 times 2 is 14. we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to have a negative 4 on the outside, and then what's on the radical on the inside is 7 times 42. So I can't break down 7, but I can break down 42. So negative 4 on the outside, radical 7 times, and then I don't really know, what 42 is, but I'm going to do 42 divided by 2, because I know it's an even number. So that's going to be 2 times 21. And then I can break down 21. I know that that's just 3 times 7, right? So I'm going to have a negative 4. I'm going to keep everything the same. It's going to be 7 times 2. I'm going to break down the 21 by doing 3 times 7. And I can't break down any of these numbers anymore. And then I see that I have a pair of 7s. So I'm going to bring that pair of 7s out and multiply it by the negative 4. So if I bring that out, that would just be 7 times the negative 4, which would be negative 28. And then what's left on the radical is 2 times 3. That would be radical 6. All right, email if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.